for most of the contracts were not sought. Also, there was what the OSP terms as a criminal enterprise, where people from the finance ministry, GRA, and SML worked together to secure some contracts in favor of SML, and this started from 2017 to 2024.
Now, how much are we told we've lost in this particular matter?
Yeah, so according to the charge sheet, the total financial loss to the state is 1.4 billion Ghana cedis. That's 1.4 billion Ghana cedis. And the charge sheet broke it down a bit for us. So between June and December 2018, 18.5 million cedis was paid for what was described as transaction audit services. And according to the OSP, there was no validation, there was no evidence of performance, and there was no actual delivery of the service under the contract that was unlawfully, according to the OSP, unlawfully secured through single source procurements without the approval of the PPA board. Also, between April 2018 and May 2019, 15.9 million cedis was paid by GRA for some external verification services. Again, between October 2019 and February 2024, a further 900 million cedis was paid for the measurements of audits of downstream petroleum products. Now, the OSC says that these payments were based on false claims by SML that they had the experience to validate some of the petroleum delivery in the country. And also, again, the contract was awarded through single source without the required approvals from Parliament and the PPA board. Now, according to the OSP again, those involved, as those are the Finance Ministry and those are GRA, ought to have known or knew that the payments were based on false claims of technical experience. So the OSP says SML did not have the technical experience for the service that they said they were providing for the state. So according to the OSP, those involved, as at the Finance Ministry and GRA, knew or they ought to have known that SML did not have this capacity to perform the audit delivery service, and this contract should
That
not
it
have been
didn't
awarded.
do the job at all.
Yes, so in some instances, the job was not done, and there was no verification by GRA and the Finance Ministry to ensure that the job was done. And also, SML itself did not have the capacity or the capability to do some of the revenue assurances that it said it can do for the state.
All right. Thank you very much, my colleague there, Caleb, with that, in the details of this particular case or the suit that has been filed against Ken Ofori-Atta and the other people listed in this particular story. This is the story brought to you always by Telecel, Holding Insecticide Spray, and also by Shield Pension Trust. Let's bring in more people into this particular discussion. Adam Senano is an anti-corruption campaigner. He joins us via Zoom. I'm grateful to you, sir, for joining. Now, many people have reacted to this particular matter since it broke. What's your reaction? I haven't heard that Ken Ofori-Atta and the other people have been slapped with 78 counts.
Well, it's a challenging, difficult example of what happens when processes and systems seem to fail. The persons being mentioned are persons who've served this country, some of them at certain points in trying to promote different things. We've engaged them. And so, on one hand, as an anti-corruption activist, it is always important that the standards that allow us to preserve and protect the public purse are maintained is important. On the other hand, it is sad to see some of these persons who we thought were fine gentlemen seemingly embroiled in this, and one cannot tell where it will end. So it's a mix of emotions, but I think it's good for Ghana that these things come up. I think that everybody should be provided a fair opportunity to defend themselves when necessary, and if the charges don't stick, that would be good. But where persons have failed, where they were provided with entrusted responsibility to do what is right, and are found culpable, the law should also take its course.
But when you hear the OSP says, quote, the actions of the first, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth accused persons created the opportunity for the eighth accused company to largely pretend to perform the services under the various contracts, leading to immense financial loss to the Republic of about 1,436,249,828 cedis, 53 pesos. I mean, do you ask yourself, was nobody watching?
I do. I mean, those are shocking details. Um, because you see, when it says that the company pretended to have the capacity, including technology that only they had that would be deployed, etc., etc. The question in my mind is, what kind of due diligence did we do to make sure that this was actually the case? Again, when they talk about the lack of both PPA and parliamentary approval, why would the Ministry of Finance proceed on a single source procurement track, knowing full well that the approval systems that were needed to ensure that this was, legit, had not been followed? I mean, the question of who was watching is really cardinal, because one expected that between the chief director of the ministry, between the legal office, between the procurement office, there are too many levels at which somebody should have asked this question. Is it possible that all these aspects of the value chain did not notice that the necessary approvals had not been received, that the due diligence, because usually we say, where is the historical track record that this company has performed this function and provided this service to other entities? And that historical record shows that they are above board, they have provided distinctive service, and therefore we should go with a single source. It's just mind-boggling. So your question is on point, and it's still, even with the names mentioned there, in my mind, this could not have happened without that levels of operational, officers having been involved and not having done their responsibility. And so I don't know whether this is the full scope of who should be answering questions.
But I mean, the case is in court, right? But if SML is able to produce evidence that there was some work done, what happens to this particular charge? But I mean, they were paid for no work done.
The charges assume that the investigations, or they indicate that the investigation of the Office of the Special Prosecutor could not find evidence of targets plus verification sufficient or adequate to say we are able to say this was scientifically done. The payments were triggered by indicators of targets having been met, or of clear evidence that these certain monies were, as were secured for the state by the activities they engaged in. So I guess that it is a matter of what will be shown in court. And in my mind, really, it's more likely that the special prosecutor will have good records, because typically the Ministry of Finance, in its records, should have the documentation that show the processes, who signed off, the paper trail, plus receipts, etc., etc. It is unlikely that the special prosecutor will arrive at these conclusions if that documentation was available and easily accessible in the Ministry of Finance. So there is some gap, and I think it's going to, in my mind, it's going to be a very interesting case, because I want to assume that there is no documentation that shows how these payments were made legitimately, and that is why the special prosecutor has drawn these conclusions.
I've seen some people react to this particular matter and conclude that, I mean, it's a clandestine move to get the the accused to be freed. I mean, what's your level of believability in this case from all that you've read, 78 count and the details that are being spelled out there?
I didn't get that question. It's a subtle attempt to get the accused freed.
I mean, those reactions are going to the extent that some people have even started a campaign to get the OSP out. And I'm asking you, from where you stand, an anti-corruption campaigner, you have a lot of leads. What's your level of believability in this case that it could, if there's anyone at fault, the law can get him to face the consequences?
I I can't see how that interpretation is connected with the charges. 78 charges that outline the failure to get the necessary legal approvals, which are in our laws, which are known to all of us in the anti-corruption space. Charges that indicate the quantum of loss to the state that has arisen because we didn't do the due diligence. Uh, uh, Charges that indicate that clearly not only was it a case of due diligence not being followed, but the company that said it had a certain capacity did not have that capacity. How could these be a subtle attempt to get the OSP off? There's something quite upside down about that kind of logic. I can't follow it.
So you have trust in what's happening?
It's not about trust.
Okay.
It's about the facts. I mean, for all of us, we deal with the facts. The evidence suggests that, and it's clear. We know what the parliamentary approval process for this required. We know what the PPA approval process requires. We know what it needs for you to get single source approval. Mind you, if I remember right, part of the reason why they didn't get the approval was the PPA had earlier refused to give them approval. If I remember my facts from the last 2 years, it wasn't that he didn't go through the process. The fact that the SML did not have the proprietary rights to whatever software they are talking about or system, and therefore did not have the capacity. This can only be tested as facts in court, that there was no legal document showing that they have the capacity or not. I don't see how. I mean, it's not a matter of trust. It's a matter of the facts going to court, and it's up to the judicial system to adjudicate and say that, yes, for a fact, we find this person culpable for reaching the laws of the land.
Okay. I'm grateful to you. Let me bring in now Frank Davis. Do stay with me, Adam Senano. Let me bring in Frank Davis, who is counsel for Ken Ofori-Atta. I'm grateful to you, sir, for joining us here. I mean, when you heard the matter or the charges preferred against your client and other people, what was your reaction?
Good evening to your esteemed listeners and cherished viewers. I am lawyer for Kenneth Nanaya Okuntukunuku Ofori-Atta.
Okay.
What do I make of the charges?
When you had those charges preferred against your client?
Oh, I long expected it, so it doesn't come as any huge surprise to me. But when I did the tabulation, it was about 78 counts.
Yes, 70.
And I said, wow. The OSP has a long-headed climb. 78 pounds. Wait. So I've seen it on social media, as you have also seen on social media.
I mean, if you say he has a long head to climb, you are a lawyer. Help us understand. What do you actually mean?
Oh, but you have to prove every single count beyond all reasonable doubt. You can't lump them together. So what I'm saying, you will have to prove 78 counts. And it is a hurdle, or it's not a hurdle to you. 78. Ewa. So
I mean, he says the actions of your client and the others accused created an opportunity for the 8 accused company to largely pretend to perform functions or services under the contract, uh, leading to the immense financial loss to the republic, meaning that your client knew the company was doing nothing, but they were being paid.
I don't speak for SML. So don't throw me into their route. I don't speak for SML. Maybe when you engage the SML or they can explain the question you're asking. I speak for Nana Yao, Kenneth Kuntunkunuku Ofori-Atta. So I'll answer questions relating to him, not to SML.
It is his question.
I don't know what I'm going to say about SML. I can only speak for what my client stands charged with. So if we can go on.
So, I mean, he says that your client, who is the first accused here, created an avenue for SML to pretend as though it is working what it is not, and was being paid for no work done. And I'm asking, this is the claim that your client sat there, paid people for no work done.
I am not a lawyer who discusses his case on radio. I don't do that. I can only speak on the threshold as to facts and certain dangling legal questions. But as to whether my client is liable or not, it's not for me to say on radio. Indeed, the duty of the prosecution is to prove the guilt of the accused person. It does not end with just scribbling or scripting long English and grammar. You will have to go to court and prove it. So whatever he's saying, if he says so, the real McCall is going to court. That is what I've always been saying. That a lawyer's day is in court, not on radio, in front of microphones, and in front of cameras. I do my legal work in the courtroom. At least that was how I was taught to train. So I will not answer questions pertaining to the charge on radio.
Okay.
Indeed, it will be an affront to the ethics and of the profession.
Okay.
I can't do that.
But I mean, if you hear this count or these charges against your client, doesn't it scare you and your client? 78.
Oh, scare! Oh, wow! I think you should be more charitable to me. You should be more charitable to me.
Okay.
I have said, and I repeat ad nauseum, that Kenneth Nanaya Kuntunkunuku Ofori-Atta is not scared of prosecution. Never. And I am not scared of the courtroom. So you have two persons who are not scared. So we are there. When the day comes, we will have our time in court.
Are we going to see him avail himself in court?
Why? What is your problem? That you think he won't come?
No, I only want to know.
Oh, when he is formally notified of the charges, of course, he knows what to do. But don't forget that the special prosecutor has told the whole country that he's going to force his entry into the country. So that is another option. Or
But he has not been served officially.
I don't know about that. At least he has not spoken to me that he's been notified of the charges. I believe we have all seen it on social media as you have. And I believe that Ken, being the Ken I know, maybe will have chance on it on social media. But I don't know of a personal notification to him.
How is he though? All of us are concerned.
How is he?
How is he doing?
Oh, the good Lord God is keeping him every day as he keeps all of us. You are well, aren't you? He's also well. He is recuperating from his surgery, but he's fine, I can confirm.
Okay. We'll see when the matter is called in court.
Thank you very much.
Wish you all the best. Frank Davis is counsel for Ken Ofori-Atta. The Adam Sedanu is... So, Mr. Sedanu, I mean, as we leave this whole thing and then look at what will happen in future, what's your expectation of how this case will travel?
Well, I don't, I mean, honestly, I don't have a personal expectation beyond that the good people of this Ghana, of the good people of this country, will not suffer any more losses. I'm thinking through how we identify what were the gaps. Because if truly we lost 1.4 billion through this, we need to understand what exactly went wrong and how do we prevent a recurrence of these things. And we shouldn't have to take that many years to get to the point of realizing that we have gaps like this. I certainly don't find any excitement with people having to be incarcerated or jailed. But if it will serve as a deterrent, because at the end of the day, the evidence is clear and incontestable, uncontestable, that this is truly what transpired, then let the law take its course.
Okay.
And let persons who have to be sanctioned to serve as a deterrent and to set a right precedent for other public officers. And those are signed and appointed by government to make sure that they do better when they are appointed.
I'm grateful to you. Adam Senano is an anti-corruption campaigner. This has been Top Story, brought to you always by Telecel Connecting Energies, Holy Insecticide Spray and Coil, Enjoy Holy Sleep, and also by Shield Pension Trust. Into the future with you. My name is Samuel Kojo Brace. Up next is Newsnight after these.
Auntie T, I beg, fix me gobetete Ghana. No gari, no oil, no plantain, just beans then eggs.
Hey, brah, that be dangerous combination, no?
Problem no day. I feel handle am.
For Telecel, with the Bob say everybody gets what they like. That be why Made For Me bundles day. Based on your usage, you fit get your own data and call packages. Fala! Made For Me bundles like the way you the want town. That *530#, then buy Made For Me bundles today.
Telecel, connecting energies.
Couldn't sleep at night. Mosquitoes will be whining my ears, bugging me all night long. Till I got a remedy. Now I'll be spraying them away with holy insecticide spray. I go spray them away with holy insecticide spray. When I sleep, me dana with holy insecticide spray.
Holy mosquito coil, holy multi-purpose insecticide spray. Ghana Kron Kron. For bulk purchase, call 0302 681582. This advert is FDA approved.
Announcing Ghana's first unlimited photocopier leasing. Yes, from just 983 Ghana cedis, you can lease a multifunctional photocopier and print unlimited. Yes, unlimited and free paper every month. Guess what? That's not all. Toners, repairs, and maintenance all are free. And oh, I'm not kidding at all. And we cover the whole country. Yes, the whole country. What are you waiting for? Just visit us at www.valexlease.com or call 0244 644048. I repeat, or call 0244 644048. Remember, terms and conditions apply. Valex Lease, affordable document management solutions.
In December 2023, the biggest play in the history of African theater made its debut.
Before Ogun, the god of iron, I stand on oath.
You saw it.
Hey, we sent you all the way to Ilefe to bring us greetings from Ifa.
By popular demand and in honor of Maoli Semevo, Image Bureau, in partnership with April Communications and the National Theatre, presents The Gods Are Not to Blame. This December 17th, 7 p.m., 18th, 7 p.m., and 19th, 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. at the National Theatre. Visit www.imagebureaugh.com or dial *714*46# for your tickets. Single, 250 cedis. Double, 400 cedis. Supported by Newplant Car Rentals, Ghana Tourism Authority, Balakwa. Sponsors: Stambic Bank, Joy FM, Hits FM, Joy Prime TV, and proudly brought to you by MTN.
No matter where we are, Africa always calls us home. And here in Ghana, the call is clear: to power growth and create lasting impact. At Stanbic Corporate and Investment Banking, we are creating giants and connecting businesses. From financing bold energy projects to enabling cleaner, reliable power for industries, we are fueling Ghana's transformation. With our support, Gensa Energy is delivering sustainable energy that powers Goldfields operations, helping them move closer to cleaner, greener mining. This is a story of how we bring businesses together, create jobs, empower communities, and invest in the next generation. Stanbic Bank, delivering sustainable growth, creating impact. To learn more, visit stanbicbank.com.gh.
Tonight, a tussle in Parliament over government's $10 million tax waiver for an integrated tax administration system valued at $44 million, with the minority vowing to resist it with all they've got.
20% exemption is humongous for a company like Tata. Look at some amendments and maybe even the amount involved.
The mighty minority is opposed to this tax. Now you are shying away from the very principle by which you were voted into office. God will judge you.
Details as Finance Minister insists the renegotiated deal gives Ghana value for money.
I asked the Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority to further renegotiate the program. We were able to reduce the cost of software and related items from $25.3 million to $20 million. Mr. Speaker, I did not end there.
Also tonight, President Mahama declares he will sign anti-gay bill into law if it is passed by Parliament.
And so there are no questions or equivocations about what we believe. I believe that we are completely aligned with the Christian Council in terms of your belief.
More as Cabinet approves public tribunals bill aimed at fast-tracking the prosecution of illegal mining cases.
And so I get the reports every day. Every day you find anti-galamsey, you find galamsey pits, people being arrested and all that.
And while the Christian Council is calling on the president to reaffirm his commitment to the continuation and completion of the controversial National Cathedral project. Also tonight, the brutal assault of a wife by her husband that has since gone viral, with residents giving chilling accounts about the extent of the sustained brutality that left the wife blind.
There have been instances where he beat his wife to the point where she almost lost her sight. We are unable to determine what triggers his actions. We want the police to seek justice for the victim. She's depressed.
We'll bring you details of efforts by the police to locate and ensure the safety of the victim after arresting the abuser and two others.
The perpetrator has been arrested. The victim, at the time the police, when they had actually run away.
In business, President John Mahama urges the Bank of Ghana to press ahead with policy reforms that has helped in the current stability of the city.
And in sports, Black Stars boss Otuado bemoans missed chances in defeat to South Korea.
I'll take your views and comments here on NewsNight 055-1111-997. And we start tonight from Parliament, where tussle has erupted over government's $10 million tax waiver for an integrated tax administration system valued at $44 million. And this has intensified today as Parliament began debating the 2026 budget. The MPP minority is vowing to resist it with all they've got. The value of the tax retention is on a $44 million contract contract the Ghana Revenue Authority has awarded to Tata Consultancy Services to implement an integrated tax administration system to boost GRA's revenue collection. The minority and CSOs at the time in 2024, when the contract was first signed, raised questions about the sole sourcing and apparent disregard for value for money. Today, the contract is back to the floor of Parliament as government pushes for approval, which includes a $10 million tax waiver for the company. Now, listen to Chairman of the Finance Committee, Isaac Adongo, lay the deal before the House.
Mr. Speaker, the object of this agreement is to enable the Ministry of Finance implement an integrated tax assessment system, administration system, using the services of Tata Consultancy Services. Mr. Speaker, this agreement was signed in 2024. The ministry inherited it, but at the time the ministry inherited it, the IMF, having looked at the agreement and having looked at the services that Tata Services was going to provide, had decided that it was so crucial to the implementation on the ongoing program, and therefore made it a structural benchmark. Unfortunately, the implementation could not happen before the government left office and the current finance minister took over, by which time the IMF had progressed this arrangement to become a prior action for our subsequent reviews. As a result, the minister has come to us to seek approval for one, the master agreement, and two, the withholding taxes of 10.46 million, so that he can go ahead and implement the program. Mr. Speaker, the committee therefore recommends to this House to adopt the report and grant the minister the permission to proceed with this agreement. Mr. Speaker, I so move.
So with that was laid, and then the controversy started. I want to bring in James Aveji, he's a parliamentary correspondent. James, the minority mounted a strong pushback. What are their reasons?
Well, Evans, as expected, this sparked a huge debate between the two sides of the House. You recall the saga that surrounded the $400 million tax waiver saga that in the last hours of the previous government, where they were compelled to go and beat that number down to about $300 million. That was referenced on the day. For instance, the second deputy minority whip, Ahmed Shai, believes that this deal must be renegotiated, but the minority whip himself, Frank Anod-Dompre, revealed that the approval by the Finance Committee, the report which came to the House, was done by a majority decision, and that they, the minority side, had stayed away from that reference to the floor of the House. He then delved into the politics of the matter, saying that he is surprised that this government is bringing such a tax waiver to Parliament for approval, especially when they, on the other side, some few months ago, vehemently rejected similar waivers, especially in the $400 million waiver.
20% exemption is humongous for a company like Tata. I think that does not provide us a level playing field against the backdrop that we know that this is a tax on account. The government is granting Tata an exemption of the withholding tax of 20%. Mr. Speaker, they have the wherewithal, they have the capacity, they have the resources. So this is something that I think that to a larger extent is not a bad step, but the company in perspective, the company that we are looking at, it's not a company that is now wobbling. It's a company that is already on its feet and has the resources. What are we doing to other businesses who are not in the same position to, as it were, compete with them? Mr. Speaker, I think that we should have a real look at this and see if we can still look at some amendments and maybe even the amount involved.
I see the committee chairman staring at me, and I know he agrees with me. Your world has changed, therefore the narrative has also changed. Very interesting. And this is truly revealing. And you look at the road minister, he's also looking at me.
What has changed?
They oppose it. I feel sad. Today we are being invited to be part of an illegality, something that they spoke against. Anyway, we are opposed, and it is interesting that even the Income Tax Act 2015 itself gives the Commissioner General of GRA some powers. This application should rather be made to him. Don't bring it to this house, especially knowing your track record, what you stood for. So, Speaker, we are opposed, and I urge my side. And I see very principled members on their backside. You should leave them alone. They are on their own. Go by principle. You are saying that we should oppose tax exemption. And Speaker, I recall how passionate the Honorable Atuforsen argued then. Today, what has changed? He's picking and choosing and veering off. What has changed? So, Speaker, we are opposed. Let the record reflect that the mighty minority is opposed to this tax waiver. We are opposed to this tax waiver. Which is about 20 I don't know what justification you are going to give to Ghanaians who voted for you massively based on principle. Now you are shying away from the very principle by which you were voted into office. God will judge you.
James, what justification did the finance minister offer?
The finance minister revealed that, in fact, this contract was actually signed by the previous government, and that all he did was to renegotiate the deal from $53.4 million to some $44.2 million, saving Ghana some $9 million.
This is agreement that was signed by the Ghana Revenue Authority, by the previous administration, imposing an obligation on the people of Ghana. So, Mr. Speaker, because the process of competitive sourcing was truncated, I asked the Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority to further renegotiate the program. Mr. Speaker, in renegotiating it, this is the outcome. Mr. Speaker, accordingly, we were able to reduce the cost of software and related items from $25.3 million to $20 million, saving $5.3 million on one line alone. Mr. Speaker, I did not end there. I also negotiated downwards hardware and related items from $15 million to $13.7 million. Mr. Speaker, overall, everything put together, we saved $9 million plus. Mr. Speaker, all what I've done is just to be legal and to implement the program as has been renegotiated and as we have reduced the cost by about $9 million United States dollars. Mr. Speaker, that is the reality. My position on taxes hasn't changed, Mr. Speaker, and it will never change.
Well, let's stay in Parliament, where the MPP minority's moral authority to criticize government's 2026 budget is tonight under attack. Parliament today began debating the budget, with the majority side mincing no words in dismissing what they consider to be the MPP's audacity to question the budget. The finance minister, you recall, Dr. Atuforsen, who you just heard there, delivered the 2026 budget statement and economic policy last week to Parliament, including government's plans to spend some 302 billion cedis. Now, Chairman of the Finance Committee, Dr. Isaac Adongo, did not hold back when he opened the debate.
In 2026, the inflation that you are seeing will begin to behave again. Mr. Speaker, interest rates are going to behave. Mr. Speaker, the exchange rate will behave, because the people who are managing them are themselves behaving. And when you behave, the economic variables cannot misbehave. We were in a country where for 8 years, because of recklessness and lack of behavior on the part of those managing the economy, all that the variables knew was to misbehave. So inflation was misbehaving at 54%. Today, inflation is behaving, because we are asking inflation stay within the medium-term band of 8% plus or minus 2, and they will continue to behave in 2026. Interest rates are behaving. Now we are able to lend and borrow at 14%. We will continue to make sure that interest rate behave around that figure. Mr. Speaker, the exchange rate has behaved. Everybody knows that today the exchange rate fears to go anywhere near 12 cedis, not to talk about 17 cedis. It will continue to behave under the new arrangement that we are putting together in 2026. our fire service, which is almost moribund. Go there and see our fire tenders. They are not functioning. When you have a fire outbreak, it is better to look for a bucket than to be calling the fire service. Because when you call the fire service, they will come and join you to watch the fire burn because they don't have capacity. We are procuring more fire tenders so that our firemen will fight fire instead of watching fire. And that is what we are doing for our firemen. Mr. Speaker, we are collaborating with the private sector. We are collaborating with the private sector to ensure that in 2026, we put together a framework that allows the fire service, together with the private sector, to begin to develop capacity for our high-rise buildings that are coming up. Imagine somebody is on the 18th floor of the Bank of Ghana office, and there's a fire outbreak there. What will happen to them? We want to be able to provide that capacity so that we can fight fire on our high-rise buildings that are emerging in the airport city and all over the place. So that is the work that we are going to do. Mr. Speaker.
Well, James is still on. And James, very quickly, the chair who we just had there also been talking about some issues relating to borrowing under the previous government.
Yes, Evan. So it was on that basis he criticized the government's inability to manage the city. He said last year alone, the previous government borrowed up to $60 billion, but failed to manage the city, where it depreciated to about 17 Ghana cedis at a point. But the minority had a strong pushback. The former Deputy Minister for Finance, Abina Osei-Asari, did not only reject the assertions, but also question government's commitment on its own 24-hour economy policy and the fight against Galamsey, where she said they allocated a combined of 250 million Ghana cedis only to this huge project.
Where is the 24-hour economy you promised us? You promised Ghanaians 1 job, 3 people, 3 shifts. You promised Ghanaians 1 job, 3 people, 3 shifts. Where is it? Clearly, Mr. Speaker, when you look at the funding in the budget, on one page it says 90 million. On another page it says 110 million. So this is what I'm speaking to. Even the numbers in the budget are not adding up. Mr. Speaker, if this is dear to your heart and the theme of your budget is growth, jobs, and economic transformation, and the 24-hour economy which says 1 job, 3 people, 3 shifts, you are putting just 110 million or 90 million, then clearly you are just speaking to it and not actually making sure that it happens. Mr. Speaker, in this same budget, paragraph 1009, the minister said that the devastation caused by illegal mining has gone far beyond economics. It threatens our survival. That is what the minister said. It threatens our survival. So, Mr. Speaker, if something threatens your survival, what are you supposed to do? You are supposed to fight it to make sure you survive.
I want to bring in Foucault Chenebois, who is a deputy ranking on the Economic Committee in Parliament, joins us on the line right now. Mr. Foucault, thanks for your time here on NewsNight. I believe we've lost him there, and still live here on NewsNight. It's on Joy 99.7 FM. And I will take you pretty shortly to the Jubilee House, where the president has been talking about what he will do if Parliament ever passes that controversial anti-LGBTQ bill. Foucault Chenebois is back on the line. Hello, Foucault. Thanks for your time here on NewsNight.
Yeah, good evening. Thanks for having me.
Today, the minority, you guys were very firm on this $10 million tax waiver for the integrated tax administration system that was going to go to Tata Consultancy Services. We've heard from the finance minister on the floor responding to you that this is a contract that you guys signed, and he simply inherited it from your end.
I can't speak much about what was signed. By my government. Honestly, I don't want to comment on something I'm not fully updated. But I know this particular subject has been to the finance committee, and it was deliberated fully on. So what subsequently came to the floor definitely had been debated, at length at the Finance Committee.
But you had a finance minister there. Did he convince you?
I'd say yes. There are pros and cons to this. Okay, there are pros and cons to this, and at the end of the day, majority will carry the day. That's how it goes. They have the majority now, and you've been limited in terms of your act or your push, and that is what it is.
You must certainly applaud him, considering that he has negotiated this contract that he inherited, saving the country $9 million.
You see, you might, if you look at it from one side, you might not get a whole picture. Okay, you might not get a whole picture. But my understanding is that if you look at it net on net, what we're giving away versus what we are getting, it's not entirely as we see it. But like I said, there's been a good deliberation on this by the Finance Committee, and at the end of the day, like I said, the majority will carry, or will have its way, as we say, and then we have our say. I believe the public has followed, this debate and has made the inference already on all that has gone on.
And very quickly on the budget itself, the debate started today. I believe it may come down to a vote. Your side, you will vote against it as you have already advertised? Or you've had a change of heart after seeing the details and hearing your colleagues on the other side today?
You mean on the budget
itself? On the budget itself.
The budget, you see, Frank, if you listen to, the minority members who debated today, myself inclusive, okay, our key issues are common. One, we approved the budget for, 2025, key budget item lines. You realize that the minister, has been rationing expenditure. Okay, so capital expenditure, for instance, we approved 1.5% of GDP, but the minister spent. How much has he spent? 0.5, just about that, of GDP. So why is he not spending to boost the economy? Okay, if you decide to applaud yourself for rolling out or ensuring fiscal discipline, fiscal discipline doesn't mean don't spend when a budget has been approved for you and when you have critical expenditure lines to support the economy. It doesn't mean don't spend. So that is one key item. The other one is, you see, the government promised the people of this country several economic transformation programs. Why has it been so slow in rolling out these programs? And some of the programs, actually, now we don't hear of them again. Okay, we don't hear of them again. Like quietly they are dropping them. But I believe Ghanaians, especially the youth of this country, they will have questions, to pose to the government. Because they assured them, and they've been anticipating to have jobs. This 133 job shift system for the 24-hour economy. 24-hour economy, how much was allocated? In the budget statement, the minister said 110 or 7 million, but if you look at the notes, it's actually 90 million, of which 70 million is for goods and services. So it's like gradually and quietly these programs are going out. Okay, and we had to remind Ghanaians, we had to ask questions that why is it so? Okay, so it's not spending, programs are dropping out. How do you turn the economy around? Okay, the economy is up to, we need to move away from this reliance on commodities. Okay, we need to look at innovation. Innovation is key. What support tertiary institutions that undertake research that will come up with innovations that will provide local solutions to our issues. There was no budget line for innovation. No budget line.
And for Kojo, just briefly on that fundamental question that the chair of the committee, Adongo, raised today, the questioning your moral authority, the MPP's moral authority to question the 2026 budget, considering that you delivered the worst economy in recent history, inflation we've never seen before in a generation, DDEP wiping out pensioners' funds, etc. He questions your moral authority. You accept that?
No, my brother. I mean, Ghanaians, they don't forget easily. Listen, the economy today, I gave a trajectory of economic growth for the past 10 years. And you will see that during the 8 years of Nanado's government, the economy really grew well, except during the COVID period, which was not peculiar to Ghana. Okay, other than that, the economy grew well. If you look
at always taking refuge in COVID, but you know that Ghana was not the only country that suffered COVID.
Are you hearing me?
Loud and clear.
Yeah. If you look at the S&P report, okay, which the government has been touting itself because it has upgraded our rating for long-term to B minus and short-term to B. Okay, if you look at it, it says the stability, so-called, or the fiscal discipline that we see now. It says a few things. First, it said Ghana has benefited from its commodities, and it mentioned gold and cocoa that are doing well, okay? And that has given us a higher buffer in terms of international reserves that has supported our currency and by extension, reducing inflation. So this stability of the city, inflation that is coming down, what role really has the government played? Okay,
well, the finance minister makes a point, prudent financial government policies, and you make the point about commodity prices going up. You mentioned COVID. During the COVID period, cumulatively, your government got more international donor support and funding than the IMF program combined. And yet, we still find ourselves in the ditch we found ourselves in.
No, yeah. My brother, look, during COVID period, yes, we got support. But don't forget, during COVID, we had to do a lot of social interventions. And we had to invest in the economy to turn things around. When you have a downturn to that level, okay, which happened across the world, you need to invest in the economy to turn it around. And that is exactly what we did.
Okay. I'm grateful. Foko Cheneboa is a deputy ranking on the economy on the day Parliament began that debate leading to the approval or otherwise of the 2026 budget. That's Foko Cheneboa. Thank you very much for joining us with your thoughts. I want to take you to Jubilee House now because the President, John Dramani Mahama, has given his firm assurance that he will sign the anti-gay bill into law if it is passed by Parliament. He was responding to concerns raised by the Christian Council during a courtesy call on him.
With regards to the Family Values Bill, you were all aware of what happened the last time during the past administration. There was a legal tussle and somebody filed an injunction against Parliament to injunct the Speaker from forwarding the bill to the President for assent. And so the situation is that the bill was never submitted to the President for assent. So it was not submitted and the President did not assent. And by the Constitution, any bill that is not assented to by the President before the expiration of the life of Parliament expires. And so it means that the bill has to be relayed in the House. The Speaker has given notice that he will allow it to be relayed. But if you want the position of my government, marriage is between man and woman. A person's gender is determined at birth, and then also that the family is the foundation of our nation. That is our position. And so there are no questions or equivocations about what we believe. I believe that we are completely aligned with the Christian Council in terms of your belief. So we agree with the Speaker to relay the bill and let Parliament, debate it. And if there are any amendments or whatever that have to be done, if the Parliament of the people of Ghana endorse the bill, vote on it and pass it, and it comes to me as president, I will sign it.
Well, also before the president was a national cathedral. In fact, the Christian Council placed it before him. Listen to the vice chairman of the council, Enoch Thompson.
Advocacy for the construction of the National Cathedral. Your Excellency, the Christian Council of Ghana continues to affirm its belief in the vision and necessity of a national cathedral as a unifying symbol of faith, gratitude to God, and moral renewal for our nation. While we are aware of the prevailing economic difficulties, we believe that the cathedral's completion under a transparent, accountable, and inclusive framework would serve as a spiritual and cultural landmark for generations to come. We therefore humbly recommend Your Excellency the following three things: that government reaffirms its commitment to the project, to its continuation and completion, ensuring transparency in financial administration. 2, that a broad-based funding structure involving churches, the private sector, international partners be developed to reduce the fiscal pressure on the state. And 3, that the cathedral be positioned as a national interdenominational project that fosters unity among our people.
Maxwell is our presidential correspondent. Maxwell, how did the president respond to this?
Well, Evans, he says as a Christian, he supports the idea of building a place of worship for God. He explained that he has personally contributed as a key fundraiser for the construction of his own church and then 10 rural temples, for the Assemblies of God in various villages, with support from different individuals. But says a forensic audit into the project must be completed before consultations on the next step for the project will be done.
The National Cathedral Board of Trustees ordered an audit into the accounts of the National Cathedral. The audit was published, and there were some issues that bubbled out of the audit. But there are two kinds of audit. There's a normal audit that you yourself choose your auditor and ask him to come and audit you. And then he audits and presents the report to you. There's that kind of auditor. Then there's the auditor who is asked to come and do a forensic audit. And so we got a copy of the audit that had been commissioned by the Board of Trustees. And as president, I directed that a forensic audit be conducted. We want to know what happened. Before we go forward, we must know what happened. And so we're waiting for the report of the forensic audit. Once that forensic audit has been done, then we can decide what the way forward is. I am a Christian, and I believe that building a house where we can worship God is a good thing. I contributed as one of the chief fundraisers for my own Assemblies of God church building where I worship at Ringway Gospel Center. And I built 10 rural, we call them temples, in 10 villages for the Assemblies of God church. Of course, I solicited support from different people. And we built them. They have quarters for the pastor. He's got his bedroom, he's got his kitchen, he's got his living room. And then we have the church hall that can seat up to about 150 people. And so I do believe in building, an interdenominational place where we can worship. But it must be done in consultation with all of us. All of us must decide, how we want to do it, what the scope is, and how much it should cost. I believe that at this time and age, with all the problems we have, $400 million to build a cathedral is excessive. I know Nigeria have built an ecumenical center, and I've been there. It's a decent, beautiful place. And they built it for $40 million. And so maybe some of the things are excessive. Let's find somewhere, all of us, on National Day of Thanksgiving and Worship, we can all go there and worship God and thank Him for what He has done for us. And so when that forensic audit is over, our intention is to have a broad-based consultation with the Christian community to see how we can build a place that is decent for us to worship. And so when the time comes, we'll do that consultation.
And that is President Dramani Mahama speaking there about the National Cathedral. I want to bring in Chairman for the Advocate for Christ Ghana, Adam Senanu, joins us now. Also joining me is Kosafoa, is one of the sponsors of the anti-LGBTQ bill. Also joins me right now. Adam, let me start with you. You've heard the president. You must be preparing to sleep easy tonight because there's all this confusion about what he will do and what he won't do. He's put that to bed tonight, has he not?
Well, yes, he probably is the most assertive and firm articulation of his convictions and what he's ready to do that we've heard so far. So it's a good thing, even though not to stir up controversy. I have never actually accepted the view that the bill died with the previous parliament. I have not found any legal framework or constitutional basis for that. And I've always felt that at some point we may need to test this in a court. But, I mean, granted, the speaker says they should lay it again. Well, if they're able to get through that route and the president will assent, it's good news for us.
Vincent Kosafoa joins me as MP for Otafo. He's one of the sponsors of the bill. Echo, very quickly, you've heard the president today. He is very emphatic, no ifs, no buts. If Parliament passes it, he signs it. Your reaction?
Well, I don't know whether we should believe the president. The commitment or the promise that he gave to the people of Ghana in the build up to the 2024 election was not about if Parliament passes it. In fact, when he stood on the grounds of KNUST, where all these pastors and Catholic priests and all those people were, he was very firm on his commitment that he's going to ensure that this bill is passed. He has every power with the numbers that he has in Parliament to even, as it were, assume the responsibility of bringing this bill under a certificate of urgency and pass it within a day or two.
But
can
he though, because it's a private member's bill? Can he take it over with another certificate of agency?
Of course he can, but that's what I'm saying, that I mean, if it's a matter that is of public importance to him, or if it's a matter that is of utmost importance to him, then he can quickly say that we are bringing a bill that within 3 or 4 days we can make sure that it is passed. Having said that, even the PMB, that is a private member's bill that is before Parliament, it can be facilitated as early as possible by the majority leader, who is the leader of government business in the chamber of the House. So I am saying that it is not a promise that came from Parliament for him to say that when Parliament passes it, because prior to the 2024 elections, it was a promise from him. And after the 2024 election, when he met the Ghana Catholic Bishops Conference, it was also a promise from him that he is going to ensure that this bill is passed. I do not see the urgency in this kind of promise or commitment. I do not see the willingness in this kind of promise. I think that he is being inconsistent with his promise. He is not being truthful about the promise. I do not even see the bill being passed as early as possible, or even next year, because trust me, the majority in the House is going to frustrate this bill because the president is not willing to pass this bill. He's just playing around with it.
And also joining me is Dr. Augustus Michael. He is the Senior Programs Officer, Human Rights and Social Inclusion at the Center for Democratic Development. And Michael, the CDD had raised fundamental issues with the bill the first time it came around. We've heard the president speak tonight. I know your issues you've raised. If you listen to the president, it's only Parliament that I guess would hold it back. Where do you stand on what the president said tonight, considering that you had wished that the bill wasn't even one that we were pushing the way it was pushed the last time?
Good evening, Evans, and good evening to your listening audience. I think that CDD's position hasn't changed. as it was the last time. We have been very consistent in our belief that this bill, if it becomes law, violates the rights of certain Ghanaians. Whether we like what they do or we don't like what they do, you cannot be particularistic in writing a law that would target the population and discriminate them. So our position is very clear. I've heard, I got out of the meeting, and then your staff had called that the president has said he will sign the bill in a meeting with the Christian Council of Ghana. Well, not too long ago, he had also said that he didn't think that that bill should be relooked in terms of the fact that he's worried about the human rights violations that might be implicit in the bill. And he even looked at a government bill that will focus on education. So as of this moment, I will have to wait to see what context that statement was made. I haven't read a whole transcript of what happened between him and the clergy. I will have to listen to that whole conversation, so then I can make a more reasoned argument as to why he made that statement.
Thank you very much, Dr. Michael Augustus. He's a Senior Programs Officer, Human Rights and Social Inclusion at CDDLA. Had Vincent Ekwasafa is the MP for Old Tafel and Chairman for Advocate for Christ, Ghana, Adam Senano. Guess who's joining me right now with the latest on the world of business, George Wiafe. And once George is done, I'll have the very latest for you on that very chilling story of this husband who brutalized the wife while naked. And we're hearing from residents who live with them tell us that it was so brutal at one time that the lady nearly went blind. George, you've seen that video.
First, I didn't want to believe it, until later I realized that it wasn't fake, it was real. And it's interesting how the police have acted quickly, to deal with this issue.
They're not looking for the wife so they can give her protection.
I hope won't have the family come in and say they won't settle this in the house.
Yeah. We'll follow this very closely. Well, what do you have in the headline?
Well, he was coming up. President John Mahama urges Bank of Ghana Governor Dr. Johnson Isiema to press ahead with policy measures that has resulted in the city's current stability and Ghana's economy to reach the upper middle income country status by the end of this year, a move that could come with some real challenges for the country in terms of donor support. The business news on NewsNight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one-stop shop for all your office essentials. Synthesis tanks and Pepsodent Herbal and Charcoal.
Hey, Ruben. Every 2 seconds notification. The Momo keeps on coming. It keeps on coming, eh?
Ma, I am the community Momo man now. People send money, and with the Momo app, every payment is done. My transactions are flying.
Hey, Adeng.
Ah, ma, you didn't know, eh?
Over 2 million Ghana cedis is up for grabs in the Still Mensah promo. Transact more than 100 Ghana cedis with your Momo app, and you could win daily, weekly, and monthly cash prizes, and 100,000 Ghana cedis grand prize. And it's not just payments and money transfers. Bank to wallet transactions, savings, loans, investments, pensions, POS transactions, and Momo transactions from other partner platforms qualify. This promo runs in collaboration with the NLA on the Caritas Lottery platform. Terms and conditions apply.
Son, we are so proud of you for setting up this hospital. I really love those hospital beds and waiting chairs. By the way, did you import them?
No, Dad, I didn't. I actually got them from Kingdom Books and Stationery right here in Ghana.
Wow. We also bought our office supplies, safes, executive desks and chairs from Kingdom, and they gave us expert advice on how to set up our office.
Guys, that makes 3 of us. I also got our sofa and bedroom sets, plus our dining hall furniture for our new home from Kingdom.
Wow, Mom, that makes 4 of us. I usually get my stationery items from Kingdom. And my teacher also mentioned that our classroom furniture was provided by Kingdom.
So there you have it. Whenever you're thinking about setting up an office or acquiring furniture for your home, etc., Kingdom Books and Stationery should be your first port of call. With over 40 years experience in the industry, we stock and supply a wide variety of globally sourced office and home furniture, stationery and equipment. Visit our head office,
Takweje, Osu near the Osu Cemetery, Temania Community 4, Takoradi opposite Vijay Mays Plaza, Cape Coast, University Bookshop,
Bookshop, Spintex Road near Absa Bank, Atomic, Centerpoint Mall, Winneba University Campus, KNUST, the University Bookshop, and Santasi in Kumasi. You can also visit our shop online, www.kingdomstoreonline.com. Hurry while stock lasts. For further inquiries, contact us on 050-162-0810 or 0302-764-101. Email info@kingdomgh.com. Kingdom Books and Stationery Limited, where quality and affordability is assured. Terms and conditions apply.
At Star Oil, we believe fuel is not just a commodity, it is a lifeline. Every cedi saved at the pump is a cedi that helps a mother send her child to school, a farmer transports food to the market, or a young entrepreneur deliver their first order. Our mission is to make fuel more accessible by offering consistently competitive prices, helping ease the financial burden on Ghanaian households. In a country where transportation costs can consume nearly a third of household income, this is not just business. It's a social responsibility. Star Oil, still quality and affordable fuels for all.
For many years, we've been solving Ghana's water storage problems with quality tanks. Syntex tank. You know, it is strong, it's tough, and reliable. And now, we're in to solve the #1 problem when it comes to water carriage: our pipes. With the state-of-the-art machinery, Syntex is providing very strong, tough, reliable, high quality, and durable pipes at a reasonable price. This is Syntex Pipes. With Syntex Pipes, water flows wow. I mean, ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. If they carry water, no wahala. With Syntex Pipe, our water problems are solved. Syntex, are you strong? Are you tough?
Brushing gets more fun with your kids with the new Pepsodent Kids toothpaste. Give your smiles protection that lasts. Grab yours today from a store near you. This advert is FDA approved.
The winning season is back, but this time I am collecting the wins like Jollof at a wedding. The luckiest season 3 is here. Your chance to flip your luck, or maybe your bank accounts too.
2 easy ways to join. Dial *712#. Hit 1 to buy for you, or 2 to gift a friend. Feeling lucky? Pick 1 for a random number, or hit 2 to choose your own. Pay with mobile money. Done. You're in.
Or go to the luckiestafrica.com, click community tickets, choose your number, or let the system do so for you. You can buy a ticket for your boo or your favorite barber. Pay with Momo or card if you're abroad.
1 ticket could turn your 1 Ghana cedi into 500 times more, and the whole community could win 10 times over.
Dial *712# or log on.
Let's get lucky together, because luck is everywhere.
Sasso, sasso, se come tonton preko. Sasso, sasso, se come tonton preko. Edrana dwami ne buseshe. Yeah, how can see any malaria? Minya me pone me sasso spray. Every mosquito standing run away. Come on, tonton preko. Sasso, sasso, mi se come tonton preko. Come on, tonton preko. Sasso, come tonton preko. Na ni sham ne die, e demo stronko.
This advert is FDA approved.
You welcome back to Business on NewsNight. Now, President John Mahama has charged the Bank of Ghana Governor Dr. Johnson Isiama to press ahead with policy measures that has helped in stabilizing the Ghana cedi over the past months. The local currency has recovered strongly since the third quarter of this year, appreciating peaked now at more than 30%. Now, speaking at the Cedi at 60 celebration program in Accra, he said the development has gone a long way to aid the current stability of the economy.
And it's my hope that you keep whatever you're doing to make sure that we don't have excess liquidity. All those words you people have, open market operations, whatever those your technical jargons are, whatever you're doing, continue doing so that the cedi is respected. And so the cedi symbolizes our national aspiration to govern our own affairs, regulate our markets, and stand shoulder to shoulder with other nations in managing our own monetary destinies. Over 60 years now, the cedi has anchored the conduct of our monetary policy. It has shaped the expectations of households and businesses. It has absorbed shocks, domestic, regional, and global.
And that was President John Mahama. Meanwhile, the Bank of Ghana Governor Dr. Johnson Isiama has also highlighted the bank's commitment to firmly stabilize the Ghana cedi going forward.
In efforts to re-anchor the cedi as the unquestioned medium of exchange, addressing the pressures toward currency substitution and dollarization, which threaten our economic sovereignty. As we advance this work domestically, therefore, our engagement with the global community becomes even more important. So, as an active participant in the global dialogue on the future of currency and payments, we draw on our experience in payments innovation, financial inclusion, and regulatory reform, while continuing to learn from our partners across Africa, Europe, Asia, and the Americas. The issues shaping modern currencies, cross borders, and disciplines, making collaboration indispensable.
And that is the governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Johnson Isiama. Now, Ghana's economy should by the end of this year be classified as upper middle income country. We have details in the following report.
This is basically a World Bank classification which indicate that any country with a per capita between $4,496 to $13,935, then that country can be classified on this new status of upper middle income country. The move by the World Bank was to help in policy and financial support for member countries and not necessarily massive economic development in a specific country. According to the Ministry of Finance, these fees should be tied into the rebasing of the economy that will aid this huge leap. But for some, it is about a signal that it will send to donors and investors. An economy classified as upper middle status can be linked to having a lot of economic activities. This could encourage more investors that if they bring in the necessary capital, they are sure of some good returns. The expected new status will come with some challenges as well because our cost of borrowing could be going up. Again, that support from Ghana's donor may not be coming at all, even though the assistance had been dwindling over the years.
And that is the Business Desk report. Our economist and lecturer at the University of Ghana Business School, Professor Patrick Osumi, has called for decentralization of the company's registration to increase the registration and improve formalization of businesses in the formal sector. Speaking on findings on a study that sought to look at formalizing the informal sector in Ghana, he explained that we need to work on eliminating all these hedges for small businesses in the country.
What the project did was to try and understand the main causes of persistent informality. And what we found is that among all those that we give the intervention to, is the group that we give the support by way of queuing for them, filling the form for them, collecting all the registration forms for them, and collecting the certificate for them. That's the group that had the most impact. So what this tells us is that the processes for registering is a major constraint. The fees is not a major constraint, and then lack of knowledge of the benefits of formalization is not a major constraint, but the processes around how businesses leaving their business to have to go to the office of the Register of Companies and having to queue and even understanding which forms to fill. Those are the major constraints.
Professor Patrick Esumi is the lecturer at the University of Ghana Business School. Now, Chief of Staff Julius Deborah says President John Mahama's 24-hour economy is a game changer that will position Ghana as the manufacturing hub in the West African region. He made these remarks when he told the Nutri-Foods Ghana Limited in Tema, where the country has the largest snack products in the region.
As part of what the president intends doing, is introducing the 24-hour economy that we all know. And we were looking for a model, a business model that is actually putting into practice some of the vision that the president is aiming at. And we were so impressed to hear from them that one of the things they are looking at, which they believe in, is that Ghana must be the manufacturing hub of West Africa. And I was so impressed to hear that they export as far as Guinea-Bissau, Burkina Faso, and all those countries. I think that is the model that President Mahama has in mind, that ultimately, if we are able to have several such manufacturing entities that will believe in the vision that they should run 2 or 3 shifts as a way of creating employment for Ghanaians.
Now, during the visit, Julius Deborah and other officials commissioned a 500,000 upgrade can-making line. Nutri-Foods Managing Director J. Aranja reaffirmed the company's commitment to global quality standards and clarified that the company would always pass the test or not pass on that cost to consumers. And that is all for business on Newsnight. Back to you, Evans.
George, thank you very much. Football, sports, all coming to you now with Daniel Krante.
Yeah, and the Black Stars of Ghana, they ended their Asian tour with a 1-0 defeat to Korea earlier today in Seoul. It was a largely better performance as compared to the defeat to Japan last week, with Benjamin Asare saving Hwan Hee-chan second half penalty in the process. Black Stars boss Otuado bemoaned his side's missed opportunities in the game.
Yeah, I think it was a good game from both sides. First of all, congratulations for South Korea for the win. They were more clinical on their chances they had. I think we had good ball possession, but also a lot of chances we created which we couldn't use, and the difference was that they used their chances, even though they missed the penalty. I think the game was kind of even. I think it was good to watch. Very, very dangerous. South Korea from set pieces, corners, and also crosses, in-swing crosses, which led also to the first goal.
Otuado also highlighted the number of new players in the team as another reason why the team struggled in certain areas in the game.
Sometimes, especially in the first, have problems when to press, who should press, but it's not so easy for the guys because they haven't played together for a longer time, and we had a lot of new players, so it was not easy for them to press, especially when South Korea overload one side and we were too far away. And then it's the decision who goes to their fullback. Is it the winger, or is it our fullback, or is it number 6? And there sometimes the timing was not there, and
You had Black Stars head coach Otuado speaking there, bringing that into sports. Back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kranting. And children are sometimes barred from using the larger toilets for safety reasons. The chamber pot and other plastics often serve as convenient means for the kids to relish the comfort of tending to nature's call. But Latus Home is bringing an Italian-made toilet facility suitable for your kids to the Republic Bank Labafem Habitat Fair.
You have a baby WC for the babies.
Wow.
Even in schools, so those kindergarten children, they have to come and buy this for them. They don't have to buy this
the bigger one because normally we buy the bigger one, not thinking about the children.
You can't find this WC anywhere. Only Latus Home that you can find this WC. Wow. It's very good. Their brand is Hydrobano WC.
Okay.
Well, do not miss the chance to have for your kids the convenient and safer toilet facility at this year's Republic Bank Labafem Habitat Fair happening at the Kumasi City Mall from the 27th to the 30th of November 2025. And that's it for NewsNight tonight. And Adubia is here with Geek Squad. What's up?
Hi, Evans.
What's coming up?
We are continuing with our conversation last week. It looks like a lot of our listeners really had a good time reminiscing some of the ways they used to listen to music. So we'll continue with how currently we are doing it, and then some ways around it to reduce the data usage if you're streaming online, basically.
Oh, there are ways around it?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yes.
It's just music. I mean, there's only one way. You just click play.
Just be ready to listen and learn.
Wow. It got me thinking. Because I stream a lot. Music. When I set in my car, that's all I do. Deezer is on blast. And no wonder my data runs out very quickly.
Yeah.
There are ways. Okay, I'll listen.